The video you are about to watch shows rollout of 4 Virginia-class submarines. The USS Montana, USS Washington, USS John Warner, USS Delaware and USS Indiana. The Virginia class, also known as the SSN 774 class, is a class of nuclear-powered cruise missile fast attack submarines in service in the United States Navy. Designed by General Dynamics Electric Boat (EB) and Huntington Ingalls Industries, the Virginia class is the United States Navy's latest submarine model, which incorporates the latest in stealth, intelligence gathering, and weapons systems technology. Virginia-class submarines are designed for a broad spectrum of open ocean and littoral missions, including anti-submarine warfare and intelligence gathering operations. They are scheduled to replace older Los Angeles-class submarines, many of which have already been decommissioned. Virginia-class submarines will be acquired through 2043 and are expected to remain in service until at least 2060, with later submarines expected to remain into the 2070s. The class was developed under the codename Centurion, later renamed USSN and SSN. The Centurion study was initiated in February 1991. The Virginia-class submarine was the first U.S. Navy warship with its development coordinated using such 3D visualization technology as CATIA, which comprises computer-aided engineering, K, design, CAD, manufacturing, CAM, and product lifecycle management, PLM. Design problems for electric boat and maintenance problems for the Navy ensued nonetheless. By 2007, approximately 35 million labor hours had been spent to design the Virginia-class. Constructing a single Virginia-class submarine has required around 9 million labor hours and over 4,000 suppliers. Each submarine is projected to make 14-15 deployments during its 33-year service life. The Virginia-class was intended in part as a less expensive alternative to the Seawolf-class submarine. $1.8 billion versus $2.8 billion. Its production run was cancelled after just 3 boats had been completed. To reduce costs, the Virginia-class submarines use many commercial off-the-shelf components, especially in their computers and data networks. Improvements in shipbuilding technology have trimmed production costs below the $1.8 billion projected fiscal year 2009 dollars. In hearings before both House of Representatives and Senate committees, the Congressional Research Service (CRS) and expert witnesses testified that the annual procurement rate of only 1 Virginia-class boat, rising to 2 in 2012, would result in excessive unit production costs, yet an insufficient complement of attack submarines. In a 10 March 2005 statement to the House Armed Services Committee, Ronald O'Rourke of the CRS testified that, assuming that the production rate remains as planned, production economies of scale for submarines would continue to remain limited or poor. In 2001, Newport News Shipbuilding and the General Dynamics Electric Boat Company built a quarter-scale version of a Virginia-class submarine dubbed Large-Scale Vehicle 2, LSV-2 Cutthroat. The vehicle was designed as an affordable test platform for new technologies. The Virginia-class is built through an industrial arrangement designed to maintain both GD Electric Boat and Newport News Shipbuilding, the only 2 U.S. shipyards capable of building nuclear-powered submarines. Under the present arrangement, the Newport News facility builds the stern, habitability, machinery spaces, torpedo room, sail, and bow, while Electric Boat builds the engine room and control room. The facilities alternate work on the reactor plant as well as the final assembly, test, outfit, and delivery. O'Rourke wrote in 2004 that, compared to a 1-yard strategy, approaches involving 2 yards may be more expensive, but offer potential offsetting benefits. In order to get the submarine's price down to $2 billion per submarine in fiscal year 2005, the Navy instituted a cost reduction program to shave off approximately $400 million of each submarine's price tag. The project was dubbed 2 for 4 in 12, referring to the Navy's desire to buy 2 boats for $4 billion in fiscal year 2012. Under pressure from Congress, the Navy opted to start buying 2 boats per year in fiscal year 2011, meaning that officials would not be able to get the $2 billion price tag before the service started buying 2 submarines per year. However, Program Manager Dave Johnson said at a conference on 19 March 2008 that the program was only $30 million away from achieving the $2 billion price goal and would reach that target on schedule. The Virginia-class Program Office received the David Packard Excellence in Acquisition Award in 1996, 1998, 2008 for excelling in 4 specific award criteria: reducing life cycle costs, making the acquisition system more efficient, responsive, and timely, integrating defense with the commercial base and practices, and promoting continuous improvement of the acquisition process. In December 2008, the Navy signed a $14 billion contract with General Dynamics and Northrop Grumman to supply 8 submarines. The contract required the delivery of 1 submarine in each of fiscal 2009 and 2010, and 2 submarines on each of fiscal 2011, 2012, and 2013. This contract was designed to bring the Navy's Virginia-class fleet to 18 submarines. In December 2010, the United States Congress passed a defense authorization bill that expanded production to 2 subs per year. 2 submarine per year production resumed on 2 September 2011, with commencement of Washington, SSN 787, construction. On 21 June 2008, the Navy christened USS New Hampshire, the first Block II submarine. This boat was delivered 8 months ahead of schedule and $54 million under budget. Block II boats are built in 4 sections, compared to the 10 sections of the Block I boats. This enables a cost saving of about $300 million per boat, reducing the overall cost to $2 billion per boat, and the construction of 2 new boats per year. Beginning in 2010, new submarines of this class were to have included a software system that can monitor and reduce their electromagnetic signatures when needed. The first full-duration 6-month deployment was successfully carried out from 15 October 2009 to 13 April 2010. Authorization of full-rate production and the declaration of full operational capability was achieved 5 months later. In September 2010, it was found that urethane tiles, applied to the hull to damp internal sound and absorb rather than reflect sonar pulses, were falling off while the subs were at sea. Admiral Kevin McCoy announced that the problems with the mold-in-place special hull treatment for the early subs had been fixed in 2011, then Minnesota was built and found to have the same problem. In 2013, just as 2 per year sub construction was supposed to commence, Congress failed to resolve the United States fiscal cliff, forcing the Navy to attempt to deobligate construction funds. In April 2019, the Congressional Research Service, CRS, reported that the Navy estimated the cost of a boat was $2.8 billion. In September 2021, the CRS reported that the Navy estimates at the present production rate of 2 boats per year, that the cost per boat when equipped with the additional Virginia Payload Module, VPM, mid-body section, was $3.45 billion. The Navy plans to acquire at least 34 Virginia-class submarines. However, more recent data provided by the Naval Submarine League in 2011 and the Congressional Budget Office in 2012 seems to imply that more than 30 submarines may eventually be built. The Naval Submarine League believes that up to 10 Block V boats will be built. The same source also states that 10 additional submarines could be built after Block V submarines, with 5 in the so-called Block I and 5 in Block VII, largely due to the delays experienced with the improved Virginia. These 20 submarines, 10 Block V, 5 Block VI, 5 Block VII, would carry VPM, bringing the total number of Virginia-class submarines to 48, including the 28 submarines in Blocks I, II, III and IV. The CBO in its 2012 report states that 33 Virginia-class submarines will be procured in the 2013-2032 timeframe, resulting in 49 submarines in total since 16 were already procured by the end of 2012. Such a long production run seems unlikely, but another naval program, the Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, is still ongoing, even though the first vessel was procured in 1985. However, other sources believe that production will end with Block V. In addition, data provided in CBO reports tends to vary considerably compared to earlier editions. Block VI submarines include an organic ability to employ seabed warfare equipment. On 16 September 2021, Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison announced that Australia had cancelled its contract with French shipbuilder Naval Group for 12 attack-class diesel-electric submarines, based on the French Barracuda-class nuclear submarine. The AUKUS Trilateral Security Pact between Australia, the United Kingdom, UK, and the United States was announced the same day. Under the pact, the US will share nuclear propulsion technology with Australia the same as it has with the UK since 1958, as will the UK. The Royal Australian Navy will now acquire at least 8 nuclear-powered submarines armed with conventional weapons to be built in Australia by the Australian Submarine Corporation, ASC. The basic design and key technologies will be decided by an 18-month research project begun in September 2021, with assistance from the US and UK. It has been reported that Australia may select the Virginia design or use its nuclear propulsion technology in a new design. Australia will now extend the life of its diesel-electric Collins-class submarines that use the Virginia's Big One tactical and weapons control system, and that the attack class was due to replace. Australia may consider leasing nuclear-powered submarines from the US in the interim, until the delivery of its future nuclear-powered submarines. In 2011, Professor Ross Babbage of the Australian National University argued that Australia should acquire a fleet of 12 nuclear-powered submarines with foreign policy, writing that the US should sell or lease Virginia-class submarines to Australia. On 22 November 2021, Australia, UK and the US signed a trilateral agreement to share classified information about nuclear propulsion with the Department of Defense Australia.